What is up, everybody? Welcome to Late Night Gamers Podcast, episode number 120. I'm Nick Persnowski, and with me this week and every week is Charles Caldwell.
It's hot!
Tim Madden.
I'm melting because it's hot.
And Steve Morgan.
It's cold in here. It's freezing. I'm just kidding. It's actually really hot. My air conditioner was on. I turned it off because I didn't want this audio quality to sound like doo-doo. It's been a weird. I don't know how it's been for you guys. Well, I mean, maybe me and Tim are like pretty close in like weather patterns, but it's been like a very strange last 3 days. It was like Friday was sunny, super hot, like sweat and just standing. Then like Saturday it was like cold, actually. Or was it Saturday or Sunday? Sunday it was like cold. I think it was Sunday. I'm thinking of like whatever, like Labor Day, like
Saturday
or Memorial Day.
was boiling hot. I went to the beach and it was like, oh, thank God, the ocean is cold.
Yeah.
And then Sunday we went for a hike and it was like spitting rain and windy and like 50 degrees.
God, I wish it was that. This weekend it was literally like every day this weekend was like 90 degrees for us.
Yeah. I know up north, like on the western side of like New England, it kind of wasn't. You guys, we sort of got some wind from the ocean and sort of cooled everything down. And then on Monday, yesterday, it was like humid and like gross and muggy and like warm, but like not too warm. And then today it was like hot as balls again and like sunny. So it's like we've had like 4 different seasons basically in like the last 4 days. It's been really strange and like fluctuating up and down and back and forth. Not like, sometimes it's like hot and then it gets muggy and then it gets cold. That makes sense. Like something like a cold front moves in and it's sort of like precipitate. Anyways, it's been nuts, man. I can't even keep track. I can't even like handle it. It's like almost like a tease too, because we're like super excited for summer. We're like ready. Everyone's got their shorts on. Go to the beach like Charles. And then it's just like 60 degrees out the next day, and you're like, I'm like jeans, long sleeve shirt, complaining it's cold out.
The beach and it was 20 degrees. We got to the beach and it was literally 20 degrees colder than when at home. We left, it was like 92, and we get to the beach and it's like 72. And we're like, ooh.
Yeah,
well, I'm supposed to go whitewater rafting in northern Maine like next weekend, so I'm really concerned that it's going to be like that. It's going to be like, oh, it's a nice 80 degrees here, and then we're going to get in like the woods of northern Maine in a river, and it's going to be like, it's like 60 degrees here. It's gonna be like,
So Charles and I went when we were younger. We went on this Calm River rafting trip. It was supposed to be a Calm River rafting trip on the Colorado River, out in, I think it was Arizona. I think we entered from the Arizona side, and so it was like 90 degrees when we like went down, or when we went there, and then when we got down into the canyon, apparently the rapids were like much crazier than normal, and the temperature, it was like 40. It was like 50 degrees.
Comes out of a dam that's been in this container for like 40 days, so it's like 52 degrees.
Jesus.
Nah, it was colder than that. I think they said that the water temperature that day was like in the low 40s.
Oh, Jesus.
It was cold. It was very cold. So we were like dead by the end. We were all splashed with 40-degree water. Like, ugh. I remember. I was like, I have to pee so bad, but my fingers didn't work. So I was like, I can't do the zipper. This is the worst. And this is like Charles and I were like 12 and 11 or something at the time. It was ridiculous,
God.
but
You were dead.
Yeah.
I can't wait.
Yeah. So speaking of summer, something that was supposed to release earlier this summer that's not releasing until the end of August is No Man's Sky. Huge disappointment for a lot of people who have been wanting this game. I mean, I feel like tons of people have been wanting this game for a long time, and it's just been like no specific date, and then they finally set a date, and then it's like delayed.
Yeah, it's also
not coming out until August, but
it's also like really late. in the process. Like, this is very typical for a game. Like, Blizzard does this all the time, where they're like, oh, it's going to come out next year, and then it's like, actually, it's going to come out in 2 years. Or, like, Zelda and all these other games. Like, that's, like, I guess, like, I'm kind of used to that, but I've never seen a game where it's like, it's going to come out in 2 months. Just kidding, 4 months. Like, how could you, like, not know that wasn't going to happen? Like, I just, like, imagine the studio, they're, like, running around, they're like, we got to get all this shit done today, and someone's like, fuck it, we need 2 more months. Like, it's just like, what? So, I mean, hopefully that means it's going to be better and, like, they care about the product. I mean, I guess I look at it kind of as a good sign that, like, they care. Like, if they didn't really care, they would just have it come out, even if they weren't ready. So,
Dump it.
Well, I think it's also the nature of the type of game that they made too. The fact that it is because it's procedurally generated, right?
Yeah.
Mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, anything could go wrong.
Yeah.
Like I know there's probably some sort of like algorithm that they're using or whatnot, but it's still just like tons of shit could go wrong.
Yeah, I think in general, when a game gets delayed, it sucks, but it's usually for a good reason. Like, games don't get delayed because they want to add more content. It's usually because they need to fix stuff that would have been broken otherwise.
Unless it's Duke Nukem, and then it just really sucks really, really bad.
Yeah, that's true.
Or what's that
10
other
years
game?
of terrible.
What's that other game that Charles always wants? The sequel to Prey 2. Prey 2.
Yeah.
But those are usually games that get delayed like way back, like in the beginning. Like we're not talking about like yeah. So it's a lot different.
They're like, it's coming out next year. They're like, it's coming out in 2016. This is when it was 2012.
I think part of the reason why people are so upset, well, at least from my perspective, people are so upset by this because they were expecting to be able to play it through the summer, and the summer is kind of a downtime for game releases in general. So to start the summer with a game that is potentially unending, it's like, okay, great. It'll be my summer game. That's what I'm going to play. And now that it's not coming out until August, it's like when everybody goes back to school. It's it's just so many things. I feel like the timing changing from the beginning of the summer to the end of the summer, it almost would be better if they changed it from the beginning of the summer to like mid-fall. I feel like
now.
Yeah. I feel like August is just such a bad time, and hence the reason why the director of the game or the creator of the game has received several death threats from fans, which is ridiculous. I mean, come on, get a hold of yourself. Like, what the fuck is the matter with you? Seriously.
I also read that like I get death threats every time I play Dota. So like, I mean, it's just like that's like normal. I don't know. I just feel
That's
like
true. That's true.
every like how many death threats like the Ubisoft creators has probably been tweeted at. Like, there's just like a million like people that like they're just stupid. I don't know. Maybe there's more validity to them. I read that article. I just was like, I mean, it's the internet, man. Everyone wants to like kill you, basically. So
Yeah.
So I mean, maybe they were more serious than that, but I think another big thing about this too that like so this game has always sort of been like controversial and like been on edge because of the fact that it's like an indie game that's put like priced at like retail value, like of a AAA game.
Yeah.
And like a lot of people have already been bitching and complaining, like saying like, oh, this game is just like a game where you run around and like find like animals and shit, and like why is it $60? Which I personally have no problem with that, but I think like a combination of all these like little things that like people were like not expecting. Like I don't think people were expecting it to cost that much. Like people thought it was going to be like $30 or like $40, and then it's like $60, and then it's like, oh yeah, all the people that pre-ordered it and just accepted that it was like $60 are like, they're like, nah, you're gonna have to wait like another like 2 months, or like it's just like, I think all that sort of feeds into all of it, right? Like I think if it was a game which like people were like chill with like letting go, and it's kind of like how I am with like Starbound, if like someone said Starbound was going to release fully like next month, and then they said like 6 months from now, I'd be like, what the fuck? It's been like 4 years since I like kickstarted that game. So I guess I think the frustration has been boiling over, and it's like just another excuse to like fire off on the game basically. But I didn't pre-order it. I do want to play it. I think it's better.
Yeah.
I think, like, honestly, I think like Tim said, I'd rather them get it right and it be a good game than play it 2 months early and have it be trash. Because I played so many games that get released. Like, this is the problem with a lot of games. They just get released, like, way too early. And especially, like, that kind of game, too. Like, if you look at that style of game, which, this sort of, like, survival exploration game, I play a lot of those games. It's probably, like, one of my top played Steam games outside of, like, Dota and all these other games. But there's a lot of games that are in early access, or these, like, limited access, early access, beta, alpha, whatever, and they're there for like long time. I think it takes a long time to like develop that content and to have it be like balanced and in a way that you don't just get super bored with it or just like crush it in like a day. So I really think it's like it's like the biggest question about the game. Is the game gonna like be conquerable in like a day, or is it gonna be like super boring or super hard or whatever? And so like I have a feeling that has a big role to play in like the game, like that there's things in the game that they don't feel like are completed, and they'd rather just like push it back and like have more biomes or whatever they want to do, because they don't want to just like throw out this like half-assed product on the table and then try to like patch everything afterwards and have people just bitching and complaining about all this other shit that's gonna happen.
Yeah, it's better to make people angry now than when they actually get the game and realize it doesn't have enough content, and then just everyone leaves the game immediately. Because we've seen that with The Division, we've seen it with all these other games. Like if they had taken an extra month, an extra 2 months, whatever time they needed to really smooth it over, then it's going to keep people in the game longer, and it's worth it, in my opinion.
Yep, I agree. I'm also pretty excited. I mean, I'm excited to play it. I don't have a problem with it being $60. I mean, if the content is there and the polish is there to make it $60, then whatever. $60 is kind of like the standard at this point. I mean, if I'm not going to pay $60 for a 2-hour game, but if it's clear that they put the time into it and the amount of content and gameplay is there, then I have no issue with it. It's just people are gonna be they're gonna bitch about it regardless. They're gonna find something wrong with it. It's it's just inevitable. But I don't know. We'll see. But when August comes around, I think by the time August comes around, everybody's gonna be either it's gonna be like, oh, we're gonna delay it again for another 2 months, or people are just going to completely forget and be just as excited as they were a couple weeks ago when they thought it was coming out this month.
I didn't think of this, but WoW actually comes out at the end of August as well, the new WoW expansion. So they're going to be competing with that, which is going to be tough. I mean, I guess it's different audiences, but I bet there's still going to be quite a bit of overlap. So. Yeah.
Speaking of WoW, I think that the Warcraft movie comes out this week. Is that correct?
No, 10 days or something, right?
Yeah, I
10
think
days.
Next week.
June 10th, something like that, I think.
It's getting. I've seen people have seen it, and I think there are some reviews out for it so far. I've seen in the 7s and.
Rotten Tomatoes has like a 23% right now. It's like insanely bad.
Yeah, for the only thing I've heard about it is that it's really, really bad.
Yeah.
So I'm going into it with like no horrible expectations.
Yeah, everyone said it was like a horrible CGI mashup, and that like it was just really stupid, and like pretty much only people that like are obsessed with Warcraft are gonna like enjoy it, and then that's pretty much it. That's what I read. And then I saw some people. The funny thing is, I saw like some articles of like people defending that it wasn't so bad. Like that was pretty much like they were just like, it's not that bad.
So bad.
It's like, okay, it's still not really like convincing me that it's good, but so
yeah. Well,
what do they expect?
Yeah.
On the same lines as this CGI mashup, the Ninja Turtles movie, the new one, the second one comes out this week, and I have no idea. I have no idea what it's about. I still haven't seen the first one. I'm gonna watch it before I go see this next. the other one, but I watched the trailer and I'm like, yeah, well, yeah. the most recent trailer that I watched, I was like, oh my god, the van, and it shoots the things out of it. I was like, that is such a throwback. That's awesome.
Yeah, the toy did that. I remember the toy had a little button and you pushed it up and shot him out. It was, I can't believe they did that.
Yep. That was like 90s nostalgia for me right there.
Pretty much this whole movie is like 90s nostalgia. They have Casey Jones, Bebop, Rocksteady, and I'm pretty sure Krang's in it. Yes, he is. So it's like pretty much just for our generation. It's for like guys between the ages of like 25 and like 32. So it's like pretty much us, and we'll be there probably watching it for that reason. We're just like, Krang, Bebop, Rocksteady, shoots pizzas out of the car. It's just like,
yeah. The weird part is that it looks like it's a similar plot to what the second live action movie was, Secret of the Ooze, where it's like, oh, they're gonna drop the ooze in there, but they're actually gonna name the characters Bebop and Rocksteady, and they look a lot like Bebop and Rocksteady rather than Tokar and Razor.
Tokar and Razor, man. Razor was some. No, maybe
not. Tokar, Razor.
Great movie.
That was a great movie. But yeah, I am probably gonna watch that. I'm probably gonna go see it if it comes to the theater in our town. That would be ideal. Then I won't have to drive far to see it.
Oh man, this guy, he was so far out in the woods that he can't even watch the Ninja Turtles at his local theater.
Honestly, there's two movies that it plays every week. That's it. So
is one of them Gone with the Wind, and then whatever's relevant.
No, it's actually they just redid it recently. So they usually play two good movies, but it's either one or both of them are not ones that I want to see. So
it's like Marvel and X-Men. You're just like, fuck.
They're playing like Civil War and I don't know, some chick flick,
whatever. Chick flick, yeah. Probably that one with Daenerys Targaryen.
Oh yeah, that one Dana wants to go see. So
yeah, Jack wants to see it too. I'm like, nope, not happening.
Jess, I don't know if Jess wants to see that movie, but
what movie
you should encourage her to do so that I don't have to go see it. I don't know. Dana's
listening. Jess would want to go see it either.
It's like The Notebook, basically.
Dana's the book. I don't know.
Except the guy's in a wheelchair.
The guy's in a wheelchair, and then the Mother of Dragons is in it.
He's a quadriplegic, and yeah.
Oh, I'm pretty sure she was reading an article where it was a BuzzFeed, and it spoiled the entire movie. She's like, "Well, thanks, BuzzFeed." Now I definitely want to go see that movie.
Friggin'. Anyway, I'm hoping it comes. I'm hoping the Ninja Turtles movie comes to a theater near me, because otherwise I have to drive an hour. I don't want to have to drive an hour.
Ugh. Yeah.
In other news, that's not very exciting. Actually, in news that kind of surprised me in general, apparently there's a Myspace hack that's the largest yet that has 400 million passwords up for sale. My first thought when I saw the headline for that, I was like, seriously? MySpace is still around? Like, it's still a thing?
In like Peru or somewhere.
It's so weird.
Maybe I can find my password out to my old account finally.
Yeah.
You go buy it. All those passwords. I mean, MySpace is dead, so those passwords are probably worth like $10. Like
all 400,000 of them worth $10, or like 10,000 pesos or whatever.
Yep.
Like and bitcoins, it's like 0.1 bitcoins. That's like the funniest thing. Like bitcoins, I don't know if you heard about this. Like there was like a cyber assault. Like some of these like hackers like blackmailed this bank, and they demanded like 5 bitcoins or something. I just thought that was so hilarious.
What?
Yeah, it comes up to like $1,000 or something. I don't know what it is, like what the conversion of bitcoins is, and it's just like enough so that they don't give a shit, but like also like enough like just to make money. So they just do this a lot, these hackers, and It was like they demanded a ransom of 5 bitcoins. So when you hear that, it just sounds so like it's just like
What's crazy about that is that the Bitcoin is worth $1,000. 5 would be worth $1,000 one day, and then worth like $10 the next day.
I mean, yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know.
That's going to crash pretty soon too. Oh, that's going to be worth nothing. I mean, it's
Aren't less people using Bitcoin, like actual businesses?
Bitcoin has been pretty consistently up. It kind of like plateaued, but there's no way Bitcoin's going to go down unless they like outlaw it or something.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a bunch of other
There could be
ones,
some
too.
sort of. It's a weird concept because it's not like a real currency. It's just like
It's okay. Like 99% of the stock market's not a real currency. So.
Yeah, right. It's not. It's not a real currency because someone in New York City doesn't control it, so they like don't like to acknowledge that it's real.
What's funny is that I heard that like municipalities are looking at the technology behind Bitcoin on like how it verifies that the Bitcoin exists with like computers talking to each other for municipal records like deeds and shit like that.
That would be a good idea. The only problem though is that with Bitcoins, like if you have the Bitcoin wallet on your computer and then your computer crashes, that money's gone. Like this, it's like lighting a dollar bill on fire.
Damn.
that's awful.
Yeah, so if you lose the key that goes to your wallet, all your money is forever lost.
How do they prevent people from like modifying their own wallet then?
Because the wallet
Has,
is part
like,
of a chain. It's
okay.
part of a big chain,
Yeah,
and
okay.
everyone is part of the big chain. So like if you can't, there's no way to break it up
Yeah.
unless you.
The like serial, like all the bitcoins are serial basically or something.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Bitcoins, doggy coins.
Yeah. So
Why don't you transition
know if-
into? I'm just kidding. I don't know.
yeah. Well, I don't know if you'll be able to buy Xbox Ones with Bitcoin, but
Oh, nice.
Of course you will. That's 3
it was-
Bitcoin.
yeah. Well, the original Xbox One would probably be worth very little after the announcement of the three newer consoles that are coming out. All of them to be more powerful and faster and slimmer, or faster and slimmer for sure. The most powerful one, which is called, I guess, Project Scorpio, is going to be 4 times as powerful, and it's going to add VR support.
4K.
And they're all
Don't even bother. They're pulling a PlayStation.
well, yeah. I mean, it's just like
All these
I don't
companies
know.
are doing this because of VR. They have to. It's like the only
Yep.
way they can do VR. They won't be able to do it any other way.
Yeah.
Unless they make an expansion pack where just like you hook a whole nother like daisy chained Xbox into your Xbox and then somehow like,
a whole console. It's like a
that'd
sub console.
be such a great idea. I'm sure like the logistics and architecture would be like impossible, but like just like have a console which like you can just like hook another console up to it and makes it twice as powerful, so that like when you want to come up with a new one, you're just like, here's a new version. It's just 2 consoles hooked together, and then all the old people can just hook the half of the new one up to their old one and have the new system.
I mean, theoretically, it would probably. It's not that far fetched, like to just buy another console and then just slam it on top, and then somehow each console would render each eye in the VR headset,
something like
or
that.
something like that.
I mean, yeah, it'd have to be like well thought ahead. But
Yeah.
they could like, yeah, they should do that. I mean, really, like when they make their new ones, well, they don't give a fuck. They want you to buy the new console. So I mean, like, they're not really concerned about you upgrading your console, but it would make it like in theory, like you just have eight Xbox Ones is equal to like the Xbox 5 or whatever the new system is. You just have all these old systems just stacked up, like
Stacked.
just
No one
all-
ever buys the new
Like,
system. They just keep
Xbox
buying
Ones
the
would
old
be
ones.
the equivalent of 1 PlayStation 2. I don't
55 PlayStation 2s is one PlayStation 3. 50 PlayStation 3 is a PlayStation 4, so you just need like 250 PlayStation 2s to run PlayStation 4 game.
I'm still running on NESs. I have like 10,000 NESs all like, in this room.
Just a warehouse of them all running at the same time.
You got an entire room full of PlayStation 1s just to render the graphics on your new console.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
You go
anyways,
into a room. It's basically like computers from the 50s or the 40s, where you go in and there's just like
the entire
reams
room.
of paper going through, and
Yeah.
it's like total nonsense.
The tape reels running on the thing like
Yep.
Good news, everyone.
Super console. I mean, PlayStation's doing the same thing with Neo. I think that's what they went with. And I'm still. Thankfully, PlayStation has said that all games going forward will have to support the original PlayStation 4. So it's not like games can just be made for, which is good and bad. Good for people who have the old PlayStation 4, but not the best for people that have the new PlayStation 4, because I just don't feel like things would be optimized as much.
yeah. I think in the end, dude, I think they're shooting themselves in the foot. I think they have to do it if they want to move into VR. But I think for everyone who bought the original PlayStation, the original Xbox, they're gonna be like, "You just burned me, wicked bad. You sold me this thing. I bought it for $500 the day it came out, and now I gotta buy another one. Like three years away. It's good. I think it's gonna turn a lot of people off, and it's gonna send them to PC where, you know, you kind of have the same problem, but you have a lot more control over it. Where you just upgrade whenever you have to, and you don't have to go out and buy a whole new console. And I mean,
you can pick and choose. Like, you can pick and choose what parts of the PC. Like, you can choose whatever company, whatever brand, like whatever size, speed, like everything. Like, any specification you could choose.
Yeah, I mean I think it's gonna. I think you're right. It's gonna. It's gonna turn people off, and I think it. It might. I think the only saving grace really will be exclusives, like Xbox pretty much has a Halo, and that's it, and PlayStation has Uncharted and a couple others, but it all comes down to how much do people really like those brands, and I mean Halo is gone. Halo is not what it used to be. And I mean, I think a lot of people our age grew up with Halo, so maybe in our age bracket, there's some people that still cling to it, but younger people are not gonna. It's not gonna have the same factor. So I don't know. I feel like they're treading on thin ice, and they got to be careful because it's still gonna be juggernauts. It's still gonna make billions of dollars, but if you can only burn people so many times before they just say screw it, I'm gonna PC.
I mean, at least they're not Nintendo and just completely shitting out like another console after they're like, oh yeah, this console was a total failure, so we're just going to stop production and not support it anymore.
Mike Adenazio just sent in a chat. We finally have someone who's chatting on our Twitch stream. He just said that he made a good point. It's just people are lazy and they don't want to deal with hardware, software stuff though, and that's what keeps. That's the thing. And also, it's hard to add on to what he's saying. It's also kind of hard to know exactly what you need to upgrade. And I think some of it's actually kind of opinionated. Like some people are like, oh, you need a really good processor, and some people are like, you really need a really good graphics card. And I mean, I think there is a right answer to that. It's just that there's still a lot of ambiguity clouding PC building, and if you're not really. If you don't want to
of trolls who are just gonna point you in the wrong direction.
Well, kind
PC
of.
Master Race. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, it's just there's a lot of people that think they know what they're talking about, and just because of that too, it just makes it can be very difficult for someone who's kind of on the fence and doesn't really know what they're doing. I can see that being a problem. So
yeah,
and it's also not always clear exactly what you need for what you want to play. So you don't just go and buy a GTX 980. If you want to play
Minecraft,
StarCraft, something that maybe that's your thing, or Dota, even Dota, it's you're just way overkill. You don't need to have very high with the particles plopping around. You don't even need that for even that stuff in that game. So I think that's changing a little bit, but it's there's a lot of research that needs to be done and thought needs to be done and things like that. Whereas someone just hands you a box, it's $250 and it's just whatever. And it works, and know it's gonna work. So
yeah. Yeah, I think in that case the factor comes down to lifespan of that box.
Yeah.
And we're learning now that the lifespan is, I guess last gen was crazy because it was like 8 years or something outrageous, 10 years that generation lasted for. But this one, we're like 3 years now. I think maybe they're gonna go to some sort of like staggered, like every 3 years, release like an updated version or something. But I think the one thing they have going for them if they do this is because they're technically not making a new console. So like if all the games you bought will work on the new one, which is good.
Yes.
But as long as they do that, I can live with it. But if they're gonna start releasing a new console at a higher frequency, that really screws people over.
I hope they also. It would be nice if they did some sort of upgrade program, like early adopter upgrade program, so that maybe you have to pay some money, but it's not like, hey, you have to, buy, you have to pay $600 for this new console.
Yeah,
it's also interesting from
when you install the game.
Go
when
ahead.
you install the games on there and you download them from the disc, could it detect what console you're on and then like download like a patch specifically for that console? Like with the new one, if they're allowing the older versions to keep that disc, then why wouldn't there also be a patch coming out corresponding that would like maybe patch some of the performance issues they'd have on the newer one?
Well, I'm sure there will be. I mean, it's up to the if you're talking about individual games, it's going to be up to the developers, which sucks. I mean, but like I'm sure all first party titles will be perfect,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's I think we're gonna find out more in what is it, September? Is it, or is that when I think that's when Neo is released. I think a slimmer model of one of the slimmer models of Xbox One is coming at the end of this year. Probably around the same time, I'm guessing, to compete with PlayStation's new iteration, but Project whatever it is, Scorpion. I didn't have it up in front of me, so I couldn't remember what it was. I think that's coming in 2017. So it's a little farther out. It'll be almost 4 years for that, but I don't know. I'm just very skeptical about the whole thing, and I'm concerned.
Yeah, I was also gonna say it's just like it's kind of interesting from a developer's standpoint. If you look, this isn't really a good example because Nintendo is like batshit crazy, but like if you look at Nintendo, it's like they can't even seem to get a game out on like their console in like 6 years. So can you imagine like being a developer, like making the new Last of Us, and then we're gonna come out with a new system? It's like we fucking like are gonna be done in like a year, and now you're gonna tell me next year you're gonna come out with something that's gonna be like 4K and like really good quality, and we can't like do that. I mean, maybe they can. Maybe like a lot of these games are being like kind of like throttled down because the system can't keep up with them, and they're just gonna like render them up. But like, it seems like the developers don't turn games over in 3 years a lot of times, especially the bigger games. So It's like you can't just have these developers like planning for a system that's not even out yet, with the hope that it works properly. So I think, I guess my opinion is like, I think this is more of a function of hardware, like incompatibility with VR. Like I think they want to do something that they can't do. It's not an issue of like they want to like make money or they like have games that they want to put in 4K. I think it's just like they want to have 4K and they want to have VR, and they just like they made a maybe they made a mistake, or maybe they strategically knew this, but like the system is just not capable of doing that right now. So it's like, I mean, unless they're come out with like a new hardware that they need to like upgrade to every year, which is like quite possible. I don't think this is an issue of like them just being bored with the PlayStation 4. It's like completely different. I think it's kind of an extenuating circumstance when it comes to that, because they're both doing this, like, and they're not doing it because like Xbox and like Nintendo's doing it too, but like Xbox and PlayStation are clearly doing this for VR. I think it's like pretty obvious that like they want to be in VR. we saw the VR at PAX for PlayStation. It looks like trash. So without like a new system, they're just they can't render that high of quality in the lens. So and they need to.
Yeah, I think that's really a good point. I mean, they're in competition with each other. I think that's why they're kind of the timelines line up with each other, because Sony and Microsoft are their main competitors with each other, but they're also competing with like Steam and Oculus and these other PC companies. So they see the big picture and they realize that they need to keep up with that, but at the same time they're kind of you're going to see their releases be closer to each other than to everything else, because PCs they're already beat on PC. There's nothing they can do there. They can only try to expedite it as much as possible, and hopefully they do.
Yeah. Yep. It's all up in the air at this point, and it sucks because I just want to know. I just want to know if I'm going to be shit on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think that brings us to the time of the podcast where we talk about what we've been playing. So, why don't we go ahead and talk about those things? Charles, why don't you start us off?
Well, you know what I've been playing? I've been playing Dark Souls 3. I think I'm close to the end. I just killed the hell was it called? What was the achievement that I got? I killed the Dancer of the Boreal Valley. So I've got one big guy left, I think.
Sounds like a really pleasant boss to me.
Yeah, I just picture like some weird looking guy doing interpretive dance in the middle of a field.
It's terrible. It's terrible. It's a huge.
You get summoned
weird
right after.
person.
What happened is I got summoned right after this big boss fight I had with this giant.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened to me.
Sounds like every single boss in the game, but okay, continue.
Well, I was being summoned into the game a couple times because I've been like trying to do that so I get more familiar with the boss's tactics and how to fight him. And my slowly but surely, my magic is getting more powerful as I'm continuing in the game. So I'm like, got my staff and I'm like shooting a magic beam right into this giant's eye from like 300 yards away. And then he's like running at me, and he's got this giant I don't know what the hell it's called. It's like this big stone massive hammer kind of thing, and he's just bringing it down. And then I roll out of the way, and then the guys that I'm summoning are poking him in the back, and they're not doing much damage. But then he falls when I hit him in the eye, and then he can do 3 times as much damage. So if we finally kill him, and I've got 50,000, 60,000 souls, which is basically your experience you can spend, and then all of a sudden the game's like, "You're being summoned. Help this man!" And I'm like, "Huh? Boo!" And then I fly off to some place. And you're in this one room, and you're just sitting there, and I'm tiptoeing around, and then all of a sudden it's and then this thing is popping out from the ceiling, and it's got this one sword, and it's crawling on the ground, and hunched over, and I'm so I'm shooting at it with some magic. I get it down to about half life, and then all of a sudden it's got 2 swords, and then it's just fucking flailing at me. So I did a few more summons on that guy and realized that he's vulnerable to dark fire magic, which I got. So I was just hurling these fireballs at him and totally annihilating him. It was doing 700 damage each time I threw a fireball. Just God, fire! I did summon. I have been summoning more people as I've been going through.
Charles,
which is good, but also kind of annoying because you get some really shitty people sometimes, and they're just running and be "Oh!" 'Cause they die super easy. They gotta roll around crazy.
Charles is breaking Skype.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
But
The pipes
I
getting
think the
into it.
next one I'm gonna be fighting is what the hell is it called? I forget the name of the dude, but it's got the big in the throne room in the shrine. He's got the biggest throne, so he's the next one that I gotta kill. I think I'm gonna farm some souls though. There's these couple giants somewhere close to giant boss that I killed, where basically I two-shot them and they dropped 3,800 souls.
Yeah,
So I'm like,
after the Pontiff guy, there's like two giants out there you can kill. I just farmed those guys for like days.
yeah, but you can't. What I made the mistake of going in there with my flame, because that is a nest of devilry where people invade your world. So
Oh yeah,
like I went in and I summoned. Like I realized immediately, like it's like this person has invaded your world. So I ran back because I knew there was some like nice summon signs. So I summoned one of them, and we kill one of the guys. I'm like throwing my fireball like normal. But then when I run up a little bit, and there's like 3 of them looking down at me, I'm like, shit! So then I'm like rolling like a spastic, trying to get away, and I roll over the edge, and then one of them has a big hammer, and he just comes down and is like crushes me. So
Excellent. Well, sounds like you're enjoying yourself, Charles.
I am.
Good.
I've been recording my playthrough, but I stopped recording my audio just because it was started getting tedious of me like screaming.
No, that's great. I think that's the best part.
Because there's definitely been several times when I'm just like there was legitimately a time where I think I had, I don't know why I get so riled up about such puny amounts of souls, but if you die, then your souls are where you were, and if you die again, then you lose your souls. And I had like 20,000 souls in this one area, and I'd gone through like 20 times and no problem. But I swear, they like whatever like AI they've got in the game just fucks with you. So it's like going through really easily, and I'm like backstabbing all these guys, and then all of a sudden they'll charge, and then they'll stop, and then they'll charge again and stab me in the throat. So I'm like, I'm going through, and I'm like rolling away, I'm shooting my thing, and then it's like, what are you doing? And then he just abruptly goes forward, and it's like, you're dead. So it's like, and then or one time this like I was going through, and all of a sudden this huge arrow comes out of nowhere and just pierces me, and then you go flying off the side of the cliff. And if you survive the arrow too, there's like this giant arrow stick in your neck when you're running around. But there was a few times where I legitimately was just like, no, and I just slam on the computer, it just shuts off. Then I log back in, and it's like, even the game is like dedicated to making sure that you know you died, because I log in and it's like where I was, and it says you're dead.
Oh my god, that's great.
So all of this is recorded. My audio is not affiliated, not there, but you can tell when I'm getting pissed, because sometimes I'll just do gestures at the ground, or like
You should
I'll
just
like
dub
point
it.
down or point up for whatever like gestures I've got in my arsenal.
You should dub it over with your thoughts. Like
I may. I was thinking about that. I was like, I
self-narrate
really should
yourself.
include some audio. I just don't want to have to record audio while I'm playing.
No, just be like, this is when I got really, really, really pissed off. Watch this.
Mostly because I lose my focus and I totally get fucked. Like, there's been times when, like, Jess will just be calling from downstairs, and I'll be at a boss, and all of a sudden my focus is gone, and I'm getting wrecked.
Yeah, that screws you over.
Yeah, I was having similar issues. This I'll talk about what I've been playing, because I've been playing Uncharted 4 on Crushing, and I'm in the final stages of it right now. And there's this one section at the end of the game where you're you're stuck up on this in this ship in like a crow's nest sort of thing, and you have to jump down, and there's tons of guys that are running at you, tossing grenades with like pinpoint accuracy. It's fucking ridiculous. And there's 3 snipers that are across the level, and then there's two to three big heavy armored machine gun guys. And I played that section of the and so if you don't beat it in one go, you have to start the whole fucking thing over again. And it's a really hard section. So I played it for over an hour yesterday, I think, and I was just like losing my mind. Like I was like bullshit mad. I was like swearing. I was screaming. Like, and Dana had to get up off the couch and was like, "Can you calm down?" She was reading in the other room, and I'm just like, "Motherfucker, are you fucking kidding me? This is ridiculous. I can't fucking take this anymore." And I was just like exploding because it was. So I ended up having to stop. I just completely quit. I went back and beat it on my second playthrough today. It was like all I needed to do was refocus, and everything was fine. And it was like
if you're filled with rage,
yeah,
if
it's bad.
You're filled with rage, the only time it works is if you just need to like run through an area, or you just are going up against like one tiny guy. But if you're going up against like something that's even remotely challenging, you just
Yeah. So I'm almost done with the game. I think I'm like 1 or 2 chapters away from the final, because I think there's 22 chapters or something. So close to beating it on Crushing. But the next game, once I finish Uncharted, I'm probably gonna. I wanna get the platinum on it, but I think I'm gonna put it aside for a while because I think it's gonna take like at least three playthroughs. Witcher 3 Blood and Stone, or Blood and Wine.
I'm looking at now.
Yeah, just came out today. So I preloaded that onto my PS4, and I'm ready to play because I've read that it's like 25 hours worth of gameplay. The map is the map of Toussaint, which is where everything takes place, is apparently like the size of No Man's Land, I think, from the original map. So it's like literally like a third of all of the maps from the original game. It's crazy. It's just it seems like so much space, and there's like new armor. There's all kinds of new stuff. There's obviously new quests, and I think there might be some new creatures and monsters and stuff, and new little side quests. And I'm pumped. I'm really excited about it. I'm excited to get back into it. After it's been like probably almost a full year, I think.
Yeah, it has been a year since it came out. It's pretty crazy.
Just crazy. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. So how about you, Tim?
I was actually away most of the weekend, so I didn't play much. But this past week, I've been on like a Blizzard binge. I've been playing Heroes of the Storm and a lot of Overwatch. So mainly Overwatch, and just get really frustrated and plug pull and stop playing after a bad match, and then get angry and then come back and play later. But no, the game, it's a lot of fun. It's really hard. It's just it's like you gotta get really good at certain heroes, and it's all about matchups and figuring out what heroes are good on what maps and what are good counter heroes. And it's still people get like really either you face like insanely good people, or you face people that are just like mashing keys and don't know what they're doing. So it's kind of like there's no in between. It's really it's crazy, but it's the game. Ultimately, it just gets really frustrating because there's like so many good people who are just like headshot you in 2 seconds, and it's it's still fun. It's just hard, and I think it's only gonna get harder as it goes on.
Nice.
But
Nice. What about you, Steve?
Some Overwatch, but mostly Dota. So I've been pretty busy this last weekend, but when I have time, I've been playing Dota. When I dumped all my money into this compendium, I had to start like I have to like there's all these quests and like daily missions, daily hero wins. Basically, like give you a random hero and you have to win. You have to win that like in 22 hours or whatever. But the thing is, like, these games take an hour long. So even if you win 50% of your matches, you're gonna have to invest like 2 hours a day on the same guy. And some days you're never gonna some days you're just gonna like lose 3 in a row or something, and you're gonna be fucked. So just been trying to play that, trying to like beat it. I mean, it's gonna be around till August, but trying to like get as many quests done as I can. But yeah, like I said, I have so many games neglected right now. It's like just insane. I just haven't had time, and I'm like gonna be traveling a bunch this month, so it's gonna be interesting to see if and how I can get anything done. I have such a shitty laptop. I wish I had a new, like, nice laptop where I could play all these games, like, when I was traveling. But I mean, I can play Dota. It's just like bad graphics. I never can play. Well, I don't know. Like Blizzard does do a good job of optimizing. I might be able to play Overwatch, but I doubt it since it's new. So, yeah. So that's me, man. Overwatch and Dota. Still got this GameFly game sitting on my desk right here, just chilling. It's ridiculous. GameFly got me good. If I don't play it, then they're winning. So.
All right. Well, I think that brings us to the end of the podcast. So thank you, everybody, for listening. Make sure you subscribe to us on iTunes and YouTube. New stuff. Well, new podcasts come out every week. New stuff comes out on YouTube every week as well. And make sure you follow us on Twitter at LN Gamer Podcast. Check out our website, full of new content, www.lngamers.com. You can also listen to our podcast on SoundCloud, Stitcher, and on the Podbros Network at podbros.com. And is that it? Is that everything?
Maybe. Sure.
Yep.
I don't know. Subscribe to us. Just hit that subscribe button.
Do it.
Because we update, a news update. The kid that was stealing from us has officially taken down our screenshotted
Logo
picture. Yeah, thankfully. So on YouTube. And the only problem is that he's still called Late Night Gamers. So if you go to Late Night Gamers and you see a 12-year-old child, that's not us. Please do not subscribe to that child. So, again, thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you, Charles. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Steve. I'm Nick. This has been Late Night Gamers Podcast, episode number 120. And we'll see you next week.
Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.
I realized about like 15 minutes into the podcast that Charles was in Nick's spot and Nick was in Charles's spot, so their names were, so I had to swap your names. It's fine.
It's fine.
I just thought it was funny for like a while, You guys were pretending to be each other.